We are live on a Monday afternoon. It is Monday, March 6th, 2023. I'm Ernest Bethea, the last outlaw, and this is Bethea's Byte, your home for news, opinions, debates, your voice, and justice served. And today, I am reloaded with another rant. Over the last few months, all I've been hearing is so-called, and I'm gonna explain why in just a minute. I'm gonna explain why I say so-called just a minute. All I've heard over the last few months is so-called parents harming their children. I've heard so-called parents abusing their children. I've heard so-called parents hurting their children. And I've heard so-called parents even killing their children. And by the way, that's not just the last couple of over the last few months. Long before I even got into true crime, I've heard this over the years. Growing up, I've heard this over the years, time and time and time again. Parents, so-called parents, stabbing their kids, choking their kids to death, drowning their kids. And over those years, even now, I ask myself, are they parents? Or are they really what they really are? Monsters. Everybody who knows me and everybody who knows what I stand for, you can actually call it my side hustle. Everybody who knows me knows. How you doing, Blondie? Everybody who knows me knows that I can't stand monsters. They rank right up there with bullies. And in this rant, it's no exception. Don't believe me? Let me, if I can, take you back to a post that I just posted yesterday. Now, you're thinking, when I get through finishing this, showing you this video, you're thinking, what in the actual? You can't be serious. But I can tell you guys flat out, not only can I be serious, but I am. So, hang on tight. You're going to be in for a shock. Well, not really, but you'll get the idea. Visit. I'm Ernest Bethea, the last outlaw, and this is Bethea's Byte, and it's reloaded. 3 children died and 2 others were injured in a stabbing that occurred on Friday in a Texas home during a Child Protective Services visit. According to the Ellis County Sheriff's Office official statement issued Friday, Texas Child Protective Services visited a residence in Italy, Texas, and decided to remove the children from the home. After an Italy Police Department officer responded to the social worker's call to the Ellis County Sheriff's 911 dispatch, they found 3 children dead and 2 seriously wounded. Among the deceased were a 6-year-old boy and a 5-year-old twin boy and girl. A 4-year-old boy and 13-month-old girl were also injured, each taken to different nearby hospitals for treatment. Texas Child Protective Services confirmed that all 5 children were siblings. The suspect, 25-year-old Shamaya Hall, was arrested and charged with 3 counts of capital murder. Her bond is set at $2 million. It has been reported that the children had been previously placed by CPS under the guardianship of another relative. The Ellis County Sheriff's Office's statement did not confirm the relationship between the suspect and the victims. Shamelia Anderson, a relative of the victim, said they gained their wings. Those were beautiful little babies. The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services said in a statement, "We are shocked by this incomprehensible tragedy and already working with law enforcement to investigate how this happened and why." The investigation is still ongoing, according to the statement. We ask for you to keep the family, the community of Italy, and first responders in your thoughts and prayers during this tragic time, the statement read. Ellis County Sheriff's Deputy Jerry Cosby said in a press conference on Friday, "First of all, let me say we are extremely sad to have to report on this." After providing details of the incident, Cosby told reporters, "We believe there is no danger to the public at this time. And right now, the most important thing is prayers for the families of those involved." Ellis County Judge Todd Little, in a statement of his own, said, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and citizens of Italy." Rachel L. Kistner, the superintendent of the Italy Independent School District, released 2 statements on the school's Facebook. On Friday, she said, "Italy ISD is deeply saddened by the tragedy that occurred off campus this evening. Words cannot express the overwhelming grief felt by the district and the community. Hearing of such a tragedy. We are a tight-knit, small community, and as such, many students will be impacted by this incident." On Saturday, she said, "Italy ISD is processing through the tragedy that occurred on Friday and is preparing to support our students and staff as they return to school on Monday."
Tonight, sources are telling us 25-year-old Shemaya Hall was not supposed to have unsupervised visits with her children. And just a short while ago, we spoke with a relative of the mother who is now charged with 3 counts of murder. And that family member told us the only thing they can do now is pray. "You're worthy of the glory, God. We are calling on you." Rayla Morrison is asking for strength following the violent attack of 5 children, all under the age of 6. Investigators tell us around 4 p.m. on Friday, a CPS caseworker made a surprise visit to the grandmother's house. The worker felt the children needed to be removed from that home and called 911. We're told Hall was acting irrational and shut the door in the worker's face. When first responders arrived inside the home, they discovered 5 children with stab wounds. 2 5-year-old twins and a 6-year-old boy did not survive. The 2 other children, a 4-year-old boy and 13-month-old girl, were seriously injured.
I'm here as a family support because our family needs support. We need the praying strength of the community because it could happen to any family. It just happened to happen to our family.
And Shemaya Hall remains jailed tonight on a $6 million bond. Teresa?
Yeah, so Shemaya Hall remains behind bars on a $6 million bond. $6 million, that's $2 million per child she killed. And the other 2 are still fighting for their very lives. And another thing that ticks me off about cases like this is the fact that they will go as far as using some kind of mental illness as their excuse for doing what they've done to the child. Like in this next case that I brought about. Now keep this in mind. It wasn't just the child that was killed in this. A child called a relative for help after a Florida man fatally shot his 15-year-old daughter and 3 others in a Cocoa home on Wednesday. The victims were identified as Kiara Terwilliger, age 15, her mother Constance Terwilliger, age 35, along with Glenda Terwilliger, age 63, and Michael Watson, age 36, according to a news release from the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. All 4 were pronounced dead at the scene. 2 children, ages 6 and 9, were also found unharmed inside the home on Alex Shepherd Avenue in Canaveral Groves, according to Broward County Sheriff Wayne Ivey during a Wednesday press conference. Deputies were called to the scene around 2 a.m. after receiving a 911 call from someone claiming one of the injured children inside the home had contacted them about the shooting. Something like FaceTime or something of that nature through video contact, the small child told the reportee what had taken place and what they had seen in the house, Ivy said. He added the caller kept the child on the video the entire time as they were concerned for the child's safety. According to the sheriff, the suspect was identified as Domenico Gigante, age 36, of Rockledge. He was the father of Kiara and previously in a relationship with her mother, Constance. I'm going to tell you that this is an extremely violent individual with an extremely violent past dating back as far as 2005, who should have never been on our streets, where he could take the lives of his entire family, Sheriff Ivey told reporters. Gigante was arrested in the afternoon and charged with 4 counts of first-degree premeditated murder. He is currently being held at the Brevard County Jail with no bond. It is not immediately clear if he has entered a plea or retained an attorney to speak on his behalf. A motive for the quadruple homicide remains unclear.
Absolutely right. Now, 36-year-old Domenico Gigante will stay in jail for now. A judge did not give him the option to bond out earlier today. Now, tonight, we're learning more about this suspect and what police say was the motive behind these murders. So Gigante is accused of killing his 15-year-old daughter, his ex, and 2 others in a home early Wednesday morning. Now, according to his arrest report, Gigante told his roommate he was frustrated with the strained relationship between him and his daughter, so he was going to go over there and kill them all. During his first appearance today, his defense wanted a judge to know about prior medical diagnoses.
Judge, all I can add is that I have spoken to some family contacts of Mr. Gigante. He does have ties to the community. He also does have a prior diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder, which we are obviously going to be looking into further. But that's all I can add at this time, Judge.
And the judge said he is not giving him a bond at this time because the evidence against him is strong. Now, he is set to appear again in court on March 30th. For now, he's going to stay behind bars right here at the Brevard County Jail. We're live in Cocoa tonight. Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
So let's recap those 2 stories that I just presented to you. I presented to you a mother who was paid a visit by Texas CPS, who was not supposed to have unsupervised visits with her children, and she decided, if I can't have my kids, no one can. And she stabs 3, killing them, stabs the other 2, injuring them, and they're fighting for their life. She's sitting behind bars on a $6 million bond. The other I presented to you kills his 15-year-old daughter, her mother, her new boyfriend, and I'm going to assume that the 4th victim is the grandmother. Don't hold me to that. That's just my assumption. And he's saying he was frustrated over the strained relationship with the daughter. And on top of all that, he's gone as far now to claim that he's on the autism spectrum. Huh? Are you kidding me? Look, if you're having problems, all right, I'm gonna start with Domenico Gigante first. If you're having problems with your relationship with your daughter, why didn't you just step up, man up, and just sit down with her, try to talk things through, try to reestablish that bond that you once had? Nah, that's not good enough. You're not having a relationship you want to have with your daughter. So instead, you decide you're gonna go ahead and up and kill everybody involved. And as for Shemaya Hall, one, you knew you weren't supposed to have unsupervised visits with your children. Two, you knew that they were going to be in the best possible hands. Well, but that's not good enough for you. You want to have your children regardless, right? Yeah. How did that work out for you? While you're sitting behind bars on a $6 million bond, 3 of your children are about to be buried, and the other 2 is just clinging on for their dear lives. And what's sad about it, of all five of those victims, 5 of them, the oldest was nothing more than 6 years old. The youngest, 13 months. I could go on and on all day long with both of those cases, but there's more. A while back, I covered one where a mother actually called 911 on herself after stabbing her daughter. She attempted to choke her to death, and that failed, so she stabbed her to death. And don't get me started on my very first case. I'm still waiting on the trial for both Tim and Tracy Ferreter for abusing their adopted 14-year-old. I mean, it's crazy. You want to be called a parent. You want to act like you're a parent. And you won't even do the simplest thing. Parents have but one job. One job. But it contains so many elements. Apparently, some of you, and I'm talking to all the monsters out there. Apparently, some of you monsters, heck, all of the monsters, have epically failed when it comes to doing that job. What is that job? Care for your kids. Care for your kids. What does that job entail? You give that child unconditional love. You discipline the child when necessary. You show that child how much you care for him or her. You provide for them shelter, food, medical care. You do that. You listen to the child when they need you most. Parents do that. Monsters could care less. What do monsters do? Well, let me give you an example of the Ferreters. Monsters will have an 8x8 prison built in their garage for their child, leaving their child with nothing more than a Home Depot bucket to go to the bathroom in. A monster will see that this is too much for them, and instead of giving that child away to somebody that would actually care for them, will go as far as trying to choke the child out. And when that fails, they go and stab her to death. A monster will take each of their children and drown them to death. A monster will kill everybody in the home because he's frustrated with his strained relationship with his daughter, 14 years old. A monster won't allow anybody else to have their children. And then the ultimate act of defiance, you know the act of defiance. If I can't have my kids, no one can. Will stab their children to death. Where 3 of them are dead and 2, like I said a little bit ago, are just clinging on to dear life. That is what monsters do. And I tell you right now, if you thought I was bad about bullies? If there's one thing I can't stand, is monsters acting or claiming to be parents. If I could, I'd round up all the monsters, put them up against something, and blow them all to kingdom come. Then I would take the kids, the survivors. I would take those kids, and I would do something that most CPSs won't do, and that's put them in homes where they're actually going to be loved, where they're actually going to be cared for. These monsters, I swear, every time I hear a story like this, it tears me apart. Every time I read a story like this, it tears me apart. The most recent one that I just posted, I heard this during a live stream on Saturday night. I go to my internet yesterday, and there it is, right in my face. I said, okay, not only do I have to post this, but I'm gonna make this a part of my rant today. So yes, I am ranting about this. I am ranting about this, and I welcome commentary from whoever's on in the chat, whoever's watching. But I will say this from the bottom of my heart. These so-called parents, those so-called parents are every bit of the monster they choose to be. It's not automatic. They choose to be this way. And I can't stand them. I will never be able to stand by as long as these monsters continue to abuse their children, to neglect their children, hurt, harm, kill their children. And I say nothing about it. I refuse to be that person. And why does it tear me apart so? Because I lived it. For the first 3.5 years of my life, I lived it. It hurts me then. It hurts me now that I think about it. I wish nothing but destruction for all of these monsters. And how many different monsters have I covered in the last few months? In the words of WWE superstar LA Knight would say, let me talk to you. So I got Shemaya Hall just recently. Domenico Gigante 3 days before that. Oh, I got one going on overseas, and she's not even a parent. She's a nurse. Lucy Letby, remember her? Who else? Where's all the monsters I've covered? Oh, about the woman in Texas who got 55 years for murder and kidnapping another woman's baby. Wanting another woman's baby. Killed her because she wouldn't give that baby up. There's others. There are others. I mentioned about the Florida mother who called 911 on herself, confessing to killing her own child. All these monsters. Those are all the monsters I can think. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me back myself up here. I forgot. I almost forgot. The monster that may have had something to do with the murder of little Sophia Mason, 8 years old. We already know the one monster that may have something to do with it, Dante Jackson. Both he and the girl's mother are sitting behind bars. I mentioned Tim and Tracy Fariner, monsters. Blondie says she's so glad that the light is being shined on the darkness. This is what Bethea's Byte Reloaded is all about. Oh, I'm here to help get justice for the victims, help bring the missing home, but my side hustle is calling out all the bullies and all the monsters. And all those monsters that I've mentioned in the over the last year, and I haven't even completed a year yet. I'm calling all of them out. All of y'all. I hope each and every last one of these monsters is buried 6, 8, a dozen feet under the prison, or depending on the jurisdiction, if they have the death penalty, I hope they get it. I honestly, I hope and pray to the good Lord Almighty they get the justice that they are due. Nobody does this to a child and expect to live the good life. The only way that happens, you're a jury in Florida, 12 people. You see all this evidence mounted against the defendant, yet and still you come back with a not guilty verdict. Oh, by the way, that defendant, her name is Casey Anthony. What? You thought I forgot about her? Last I heard, she was known as the most hated woman in America. But I believe now that title might change. That somebody may taking up that mantle now, because just last night. No, not last night, but maybe it was. I was on with Avery Shannon, and Letitia Stauch, the mother of Gannon Stauch, is going on trial. Take a wild guess what she's charged with. If you said murdering her son, congratulations, you win the grand prize. Monsters everywhere calling themselves parents, and it makes me sick. I just looked at comments on the Shemaya Hall case, and my good friend Barbara Rushing said and I'm pulling these comments up as we speak. It's very sad that I saw this over on Chris Thorne's show channel. Shout out to Chris Thorne's. It broke my heart It broke mine too. It broke mine too. Then she responded to Avery Shannon saying that she was just reading about this. Barbara Rushing responded that her twin sister killed a 7-year-old daughter after she got out of the psych ward. It's very sad the crimes that go on in this world. Yeah. What makes it all the more sad, again, I mentioned this, is that their defense is mental. They'll go to trial, but they're not fit to stand trial. And when they are fit to stand trial, they're found not guilty by reason of insanity. And yes, the insanity defense as it stands, yeah, it works. Sadly, they will plead insanity to keep themselves out of jail, but they get locked up in a psych ward. Only to come back out and do something like this to their child. Sure, I can say they're not. Sure, I can say that they're a few aces short of a full deck. But these are children. It makes no sense to me. None. It makes absolutely zero sense to me how these so-called parents can do their children this way. I'll say this, and I'm going to end this edition of Bethea's Byte Reloaded, this rant, and I'm going to say this one good time for all the parents out there. First of all, I salute you for doing what you do. It may not be easy, but you take the mantle for doing it. Mothers, fathers, step parents, you're doing your best. And again, I applaud you for it. But for those of you who are having a hard time and ready to throw in the towel, please do yourself and do those children a favor. Give those children away to somebody that'll actually care for them. There's no need to hurt that child. There's no need to abuse that child. There's no need to neglect that child. There is no need to kill those children. If you can't handle the responsibility of being a parent, give the child to somebody who will step up and take that responsibility. Give those children a chance to live. In the immortal words of MC Hammer at the end of the song Crime Story, you're doing what you feel you have to do, but the youngsters, they don't know any better. So we want to give those children a chance at a different life. Give the children a chance to live. I mean, life is precious. You know that yourself. and you're trying to make a better life for yourself. That's all I got. That's it for my rant about the monsters. I'm gonna leave a poll up on top. No, I won't. I'm gonna leave a little commentary in my YouTube community tab, and I want to get your thoughts in the comments section of this video. I want to get your comments in the community tab, and I will link this video back to it. You tell me what you think should happen to these monsters. I already got my mind set. I thank you all for joining me. I'm thankful for all you subscribers. I'm very, very thankful for all of you who subscribe to Matthias Byte Reloaded. I am honored you take the time to watch these videos, to share your what you believe, share your beliefs as far as true crime, justice, all of that. I will continue to be that beacon light of life that I can be, to make sure that the victims get the justice they're due, the missing are brought home, and the villains, the criminals, the bullies, and the monsters get what's coming to them. So until we meet again, my name is Ernest Bethea, better known as The Last Outlaw. Again, I thank you so much. And I just got this one quick chat that's just popped in. Blondie, of course. I appreciate your thoughts and opinions on these cases. Of course, that's what I do. So, again, I will link this video back in the community tab, and I want to get your thoughts on it. So until we meet again, Ernest Bethea, The Last Outlaw, Bethea's Byte Reloaded. Until next time, bite this. Hey guys, this is The Last Outlaw. I send you all a million thank yous for all the love and support of Bethea's Byte Reloaded. I know I've said this before, but it bears being repeated. Without you, this channel does not run. So again, a million times over, I thank you. I'd like you to do something for me. If you enjoyed this video, or you want to give your feedback on anything that was discussed or shown, I'd like you to do the following. Give the video a like. It helps to get the information out to everyone who may have information leading to getting justice for the victims and or bringing the missing home safe. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and let's join in this fight together. Be sure to hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified of future videos, live and pre-recorded. The real game changer is when you click the share button. Send this and videos like it all over your social media. The more eyes and ears on this channel, the better the chances of getting justice for the families of the victims and bringing the missing home. Of course you're going to have your say as well, so be sure to drop a comment. I just ask you to keep it clean and civil. Remember, we are about getting justice, not arguing over who's right or wrong in a debate. Don't forget to follow Bethea's Byte Reloaded all over social media. On Facebook, at Bethea's Byte Reloaded TC. On Twitter, at EKB316. On YouTube, at Bethea's Byte Reloaded, with and without the punctuation marks. On Instagram at EB The Last Outlaw. On TikTok at King of Hearts 316 2021. Email me at kingofhearts316_09 at outlook.com. Hit me up on the message forum at www.bethesbyte.com. This is your home for news, opinions, debates, your voice, and justice served. This is Bethesda's Byte, and it's reloaded.